Have you ever met someone who seems incredibly intuitive, deeply empathetic, yet mysteriously distant? Someone who can read emotions effortlessly but rarely lets others into their own inner world. These are Sigma Empaths, individuals who combine the quiet independence of a Sigma personality with the profound emotional depth of an empath. They walk through life appearing composed and self-sufficient, yet beneath their calm exterior, they carry secrets that few ever get to see. They observe, they feel deeply, and they understand people in ways that most never will. But there's a lot they keep hidden from the world. Today, we're peeling back the layers to reveal the 7 things every Sigma Empath is secretly hiding. Whether you know one or maybe even are one, you'll want to stick around, because what you discover might just change the way you see them forever. Let's dive in. Number 1. They absorb energy like a sponge, but keep it to themselves. Have you ever been around someone who just knows when something's wrong, even when you haven't said a word? That's a Sigma Empath. They don't just notice emotions, they absorb them. It's almost like they have an invisible antenna picking up on the slightest shifts in energy, whether it's tension in a room, unspoken sadness, or even someone's silent frustration. But here's what makes them different from other empaths. They don't talk about it. While some empaths openly express concern, asking, "Are you okay?" The moment they sense something off, Sigma Empaths take a different approach. They feel everything, but instead of voicing it, they carry it quietly. They process emotions internally, often choosing not to speak up because they don't want to make someone uncomfortable, or worse, feel like a burden. Imagine a Sigma Empath sitting with a group of friends. One person is acting normal, smiling, laughing, but the Sigma Empath already knows something's wrong. Maybe it's a slight change in tone, a hesitation in their voice, or an energy shift too subtle for most to notice. While others remain oblivious, the Sigma Empath feels the weight of that hidden emotion. They might check in later with a simple, "Hey, I'm here if you need to talk." But what they won't say is just how deeply they felt that pain too. This constant absorption can be overwhelming. They pick up on emotions everywhere they go, at work, in crowded spaces, even through text messages. And since they rarely share just how much they're carrying, most people never realize how heavy their emotional world truly is. Number 2. They crave deep connections, but struggle to trust. Sigma Empaths are not the type to enjoy small talk or surface-level friendships. They crave real connections, the kind where they can be their true selves without fear of judgment. But here's the catch. While they long for deep relationships, they're also extremely cautious about who they let in. It's not that they don't want to open up, it's that experience has taught them to be careful. Maybe they once confided in someone who later used their vulnerability against them. Or perhaps they gave too much in a relationship, only to be left drained and unappreciated. These experiences don't just hurt them, they shape them. So, instead of jumping into connections blindly, they take their time, watching, observing, and testing people in subtle ways before they fully trust. Sigma Empath might seem warm, engaging, even easy to talk to. But the moment someone pries too much or moves too fast, they instinctively pull back. It's not about being cold or distant. It's about self-preservation. They need to know that someone is genuine before they expose their inner world. Think of it like this. Imagine meeting a Sigma Empath at a social gathering. They'll listen intently, make you feel understood, and maybe even offer insights that feel eerily spot on. But the moment the conversation turns toward them, their fears, their struggles, their dreams, they deflect, change the subject, or keep their answers vague. It's not because they don't want to share. They just need to be sure that you're the right person to share with. Number 3. They notice every lie, even the white ones. You might think a small lie goes unnoticed, but if a Sigma Empath is in the room, they already caught it. With their sharp intuition and analytical minds, they read people like an open book. A slight change in tone, a flicker of hesitation, or even a forced smile. These subtle cues don't escape their attention. But here's the thing. They won't always call it out. Unlike others who might confront dishonesty right away, Sigma Empaths prefer to observe and adapt. If they sense insincerity, they won't argue or demand the truth. Instead, they make a quiet decision to trust you less. It could be something as small as someone pretending to be fine when they're not, or as serious as a betrayal disguised as kindness. Whatever the case, once a Sigma empath sees through someone's facade, they can't unsee it. They might still be polite, still engage in conversation, but deep down, the dynamic has already changed. Imagine a scenario where a friend says, "I'm happy for you," but their energy feels off. A Sigma empath doesn't just hear the words, they feel the truth behind them. They might not call out the fake enthusiasm, but they'll remember it. And over time, they'll slowly step back, creating distance without ever needing to explain why. Number 4. They play the role of the healer, even when they're hurting. Sigma empaths are the ones people turn to in times of crisis. They have a calming presence, a way of making others feel seen and understood. Whether it's a friend going through heartbreak, a coworker feeling overwhelmed, or even a stranger who just needs a listening ear, Sigma empaths are ready to help. They absorb pain, offer wisdom, and never ask for anything in return. But here's the secret. They struggle too. They have their own battles, their own moments of doubt, exhaustion, and heartache. Yet, you'll rarely see it. Instead of reaching out for help, they retreat into solitude, choosing to process their pain alone. It's not that they don't want support. It's that they don't know how to ask for it. Imagine a friend who's always ready for you, the one who answers your late-night texts, reassures you when life feels heavy, and never makes you feel like a burden. But when they're struggling, they disappear. They'll say they're just tired or handling things, but deep down they're drowning in emotions they won't let anyone see. Sigma empaths don't want to add to anyone else's burdens. They tell themselves they can handle it, that they're strong enough to carry it alone, and maybe they are. But even the strongest healers need healing too. Number 5. Their mind is always analyzing everything. Sigma empaths don't just experience the world, they decode it. Every glance, every shift in tone, every hesitation in someone's voice, they notice it all. Their minds are constantly processing, piecing together patterns, and searching for hidden meanings in what people say and do. It's not something they can turn off. A simple conversation can send them down a rabbit hole of overthinking. Did that person's tone change slightly? Why did they pause before answering? Were they being honest, or was there something left unsaid? Even the smallest details don't escape their awareness, and once something gets stuck in their mind, it lingers. They might look composed on the outside, but inside, they're replaying a conversation from 3 days ago, wondering if they said the right thing. They analyze their own words just as much as they analyze others, second-guessing whether they came across as too distant, too blunt, or too open. This constant mental activity can be exhausting. But ask a Sigma empath how they're doing, and they'll likely just smile and say, "I'm fine," because admitting how much their own mind wears them out, that's something they rarely do. Number 6. They set boundaries, but it's not always easy. Sigma empaths know that without boundaries, they'd be emotionally drained all the time. Unlike traditional empaths, who often struggle to separate their energy from others, Sigma empaths have learned that they must protect their space. But knowing something and actually doing it, those are two very different things. The problem isn't that they don't want to set boundaries, it's that their compassion makes it difficult to enforce them. They tell themselves they won't respond to that late-night message, that they need time for themselves, that they shouldn't always be the one people rely on. But when someone they care about reaches out in distress, they answer. Every time. This internal struggle is constant. They know their limits, but they also feel the weight of other people's pain. Saying no feels like letting someone down, even when they're running on empty. So they walk a tightrope, balancing their need for solitude with their deep-rooted desire to help. And sometimes, they give more than they should, simply because they can't turn their empathy off. Number 7. They're tired of always being strong. Sigma empaths have built a reputation for being the strong ones, the ones who always have it together, who can handle anything, who never seem to need help. And for the most part, they embrace this role. They've learned to rely on themselves because, in their experience, not everyone can be trusted with their vulnerability. But strength doesn't mean they never feel drained. Behind their composed exterior, there are days when they're exhausted from carrying everyone else's emotions. There are moments when they wish someone would notice their silence, check in on them, and offer support, just as they do for others. Yet, when that doesn't happen, they don't complain. They just keep going. The hardest part? Asking for help feels unnatural. They've spent so much time being the listener, the problem solver, the one others turn to, that reaching out themselves feels foreign. So instead, they carry the weight alone, hoping that one day, someone will see past their strength and recognize the unspoken truth. Even the strongest ones need support, too. So there you have it. Sigma empaths are far more complex than they appear. They absorb emotions like a sponge, analyze everything down to the smallest detail, and offer unwavering support to those around them. Yet, beneath their calm and self-sufficient exterior, they often carry more than anyone realizes. They rarely ask for help, not because they don't need it, but because they've learned to handle things alone. They set boundaries, but struggle to enforce them. They notice every lie, yet rarely call them out. And while they crave deep connections, trusting others doesn't come easily. If you know a Sigma empath, take a moment to appreciate their quiet strength. They may not always show it, but they carry more than most people will ever see. And if you are one, remember this: it's okay to let someone in. Strength isn't just about standing alone. Sometimes, it's about allowing yourself to be seen. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. Until next time.